Hi everyone, it's Cindy Johnson, your instructor for your first coding class. In this video, I wanted to go over the assignment schedule, what books you'll need, how you'll know from week to week what you need to do, and just to show you some hints, I guess, that would help you be successful. First of all, the coding handbook is what I refer to as the textbook. The author is Nellie Leon Cheeson. Nellie is she works for the American Hospital Association, and she's been with them for a long time. And this book is really the best book on the market, I think, for teaching ICD-10 CM. Even though this book does talk about PCS, we will not use it for our PCS course, HIT 231, because we believe we have a different textbook that's the best book on the market to teach PCS coding. But one thing at a time. This book is still a reference for you. Even if you have it in 231, you can always refer back to it and just take advantage of reading as much as you can about these two code books and the code sets. Some of your homework will focus on the coding handbook. Some focuses on the code book. The code book is that very large ICD-10 code book that you have in your possession now. I like the Optum publisher, but really anybody's okay as long as it's 2016. And then, of course, the 2016 Coding Handbook. As you look at the assignment schedule, scroll down, each week I break out what exactly I want you to do that week. You'll read this, you'll complete the syllabus quiz, you'll write your introduction in the discussion board. There are no points attached to that discussion board, but there are 20 points attached to the syllabus quiz. So once you have read the syllabus, be sure you take that syllabus quiz. Sometimes those 20 points is the difference between an A and a B and a B and a C, or a B and a C. Then you're going to read the coding handbook and review the PowerPoint slides for each one of those chapters. Chapter 1 is not required. I think you might find it interesting, especially if you are familiar with ICD-9, which is the code set that we had for many years and the code set that I learned to code in. So I had to learn 10 too, so it's been a real education, let's say, to learn to code in 10. I like it. I like it better than 9 because it's more logical in my mind. You'll also see on this column here, I have the code book. Different than the coding handbook, the code book. The overview of the official conventions and additional conventions, and it corresponds to Chapter 3 in the Coding Handbook. Each week, the due date for what needs to happen, and then how many points are associated with that. Then there's a Dropbox exercise, which is not the same as those exercises that are in the Coding Handbook. This particular one, I can't remember how many questions it is, but it is some fill in the blank, some multiple choice, and this is worth 25 points. I think I have a little note up here at the top. Yes, you will complete those coding handbook exercises for all those chapters, but you don't submit them for a grade. They're like practice, if you will. And then just skip those that ask for procedure codes. This is not a course on procedure codes. This is a course on diagnostic codes. Just to give you some background, before ICD-10, we taught the first half of the ICD-9 codebook in this class and the second half of the ICD-9 codebook in 231. But then when ICD-10 came along, PCS, which is the procedure coding system, is so different and much more complicated than ICD-9 was, with many, many, many more codes to choose from. So it just made sense for us then to separate the courses so that now the first coding class is just ICD-10 CM and the second coding class is ICD-10 PCS. All right, now we've gone through week 1. Now week 2. You can see we're going to do Chapter 7, Basic Coding Guidelines, and the PowerPoint for Chapter 7 in the handbook. And then we're going to read those guidelines in the code book, and this is pages 1 through 33. The guidelines I mentioned in the syllabus are like the rules for how to drive. When you learn how to drive and you learn all these rules, all the laws, everything like that. That's what the guidelines are like for coding. And the only way you learn them is to just refer back to them over and over and over. And I'll go through some things with you so that you understand exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about applying the guidelines. So week 2 gets you through that. Then you're going to see what's called a coding clinic that you can download from the content page in D2L. Coding Clinic is a publication that the American Hospital Association sends out 4 times a year. The one that I've attached here is from the first quarter of 2016. The hospitals subscribe to those because they're quite expensive, so we can't as a college afford them. But as an educational tool, it's important for you to know that the Coding Clinic is the communication tool between the coders in the field and the American Hospital Association. When the coders in the field are going, wait a minute, I don't have all the information I need to assign a code based on what's available to me in the code book. And then these cooperating parties with the American Hospital Association and other entities get together and say, you know, that coder's right. Let's decide how we want to do this. So then they publish their either a change or a recommendation or a suggestion or a rule that from now on, this is going to be coded this way. So if you plan to work as a coder, Coding Clinic will be your Bible, so to speak, that you will be always aware of the latest publication available to you as a coder. And also, if it helps you in your defense of why you selected a code. Let's say your supervisor, you're working as a coder and your supervisor goes, I don't understand why you selected that code. You have to always be able to defend why you select a code. And sometimes your selection is going to be based upon what you remember reading in the Coding Clinic. So you want to be able to quote to your supervisor, it was in the Coding Clinic of the first quarter of 2015. And then he or she's going to go back and say, well, yep, he's right, there it is. So that's just how important Coding Clinic is, and I will keep you updated. I'm always looking at them. Some people in the hospital that I know send them to me, so I do have access to them, and I will be sharing them with you as they come to me, so that you can always see how we use those. Then the first chapter. The first exam is in week 2 also, chapters 1 through 7. And that will include the guidelines and the conventions. So just be aware of the amount of work that this course is going to be. I'm not going to make any bones about it. This is a hard course. It's a lot of work. And these students, when I was the chair of the HIT program, and a student would come to me with concerns and say, there's just so much homework. And I get that. It is a lot of homework, but I also have to remind you, this is a 5-credit class. If you were taking a 5-credit class and sitting in a classroom, you would be spending 15 to 20 hours going to class and doing the homework. In an online class, it's all in one space, but the requirements of an online class, I think, are more so than a land-based class. So at a minimum, you have 15 to 20 hours a week that you're going to be spending just on this course. As things come up and as people ask me questions, I am happy to publish podcasts. I'm happy to have face-to-face meetings with you if you ask for them, to be able to help you get the gist of this. But nothing I can do is going to take away from how much time it requires of you. It's just a commitment that you're going to have to make. I want to do one more week, and then I think you've got the gist of the assignment schedule and how that works. In week 3, we're going to do chapter 14 in the Coding Handbook, which is infectious and parasitic diseases, which corresponds to chapter 1 in the code book, which is the certain infectious and parasitic diseases. And those are codes beginning with A00 through B99. A00 is called a category code. So a complete code is never going to be, well, I shouldn't say never, very rarely is a 3-character code going to be sufficient. Many codes are 4, 5, 6, and 7 characters. So this is just giving you an idea of those first 3 characters for this chapter. You have a PowerPoint associated with chapter 14 in the Coding Handbook. I remind you again that yes, you do want to do those exercises, but you will not be submitting those exercises for a grade. Only assign the codes for diagnoses, not procedures. Then here's something new. I want you to look at what's called the chapter-specific coding guidelines for Chapter 1. That is going to begin on page 6 in your code book, and it's also found immediately preceding Chapter 1 in the code book. When you see your ICD-10, you'll see what I mean about that. Also this week, you're going to be looking at neoplasms, which are cancers. Chapter 2, categories C00 through D49. You're going to review the coding handbook, Chapter 29, which corresponds to Chapter 2 in the code book. When I first saw the coding handbook, and I thought, why can't her chapters correspond to the ICD-10 code book? It would make so much more sense, but that's not what she did. So that's why I've tried to make 2 columns to help you understand the differences in those 2 things. Then you're also going to have chapter-specific coding guidelines for Chapter 2 neoplasms, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of them. A lot of them. When you're coding cancer diagnoses, there's so many rules about that. So there's 3 pages, 8, 9, and 10, in your ICD-10 code book, and immediately in front of Chapter 2 that are chapter-specific guidelines for Chapter 2 neoplasms. Then there is a Dropbox exercise, Chapter 2, called Exercise 2, which is for Chapter 29 and Chapter 14 in the handbook, right? 14 and 29, yep. All right, I'm going to do a separate podcast to talk about the exercises and what I expect from you and how you might use the answer key. Thank you.